Magu Ziansho, divine marijuana brings immortality. So, on this video, I want to talk about, well, I am going to talk about, I don't want to talk about it, I am going to talk about it. I am going to talk about kind of the difference between Kung Fu, or in Cantonese, like my teacher and Bruce Lee, in Cantonese, Kung Fu. Anyway, and KaRaTe, the difference between, or a little bit of the difference, I'm not going to go into the whole difference, a little bit of the difference between Kung Fu or Kung Fu and KaRaTe. First of all, well, let me say first that on the blackboard, I still have the Tao. Let me see. Can you see it now? I still have the art of networking, or Tao Net, because I still, after this video, I still want to do 3 videos on, or 1 video each, something like that, on each of the different certification, consultant instructor certification courses that I personally have developed. So I'm going to do a video on all 3 of those. Tao Life, or the Art of Life. Tao War, which is what this channel is basically about. Cannabis, Kung Fu Tao. And Taonomics. So I'm going to do a video on each one of those. But on this video, I'm going to talk about KaRaTe and Kung Fu. Well, I consider myself a Kung Fu man, but the first traditional style that I studied was Shotokan Karate. And my brother put me in there because that was in I remember, because it was 1966, and Bruce Lee had came out on the Green Hornet. And I'm like, I want to do what that guy is doing in the Green Hornet. But years later, I figured out karate is not the same as what Bruce Lee was doing in the Green Hornet, and is definitely not what he was doing in his movies and stuff. So it took me a long time to figure that out, but I started out in karate, and I lived in Okinawa, Japan, when I was in the Marine Corps, and I studied Okinawan karate. So I have a little, and that was for a whole year. So I have a little experience on what I'm about to talk about. So the other thing is, I wrote it down because this is kind of in between the last video and the video I was getting ready to do, because sometimes I just have like this idea, and idea just comes into my head, and I gotta do this video now. And that's how I've been doing the videos, like really off the top of my head, because that's how I used to teach. But now that I'm getting older and I have a lot more information than I had when I was teaching just Tai Chi, and doing these videos, I'm finding out I should start writing stuff down because when I look at the video after I made the video, and I'm not going to do it over, but I look at the video and be like, dang it, I forgot to say, dang nabbit, I forgot to say. It's a lot of information and it's a little, well, my head might be big, but it's still little compared to the information, which y'all call knowledge, is like. So these videos are personally helpful in that I am able to speak again, kind of speaking with no teethus, you know, and I'm getting all this out of my head. So, I said all that to say, you see, I talk a lot now. I usually didn't talk. I said all that to say, I'm going to read what I literally just wrote down like an hour ago. So when I was setting up to do this video, I turned on the internet so I could play my music. And the first thing that pops up was my student, Sifu MC, being a uki. Now, unless you're into karate or something like that, you don't know what an uki is, probably. An uki is the person that, say, if I'm the teacher, the person that I'm getting ready to throw around and punch in the face and all that type of stuff, that's an uki. He's the guy that gets beat up on in a demonstration. Now, it is part of learning of a traditional system, because when the teacher is doing his techniques on you over and over and over again, you learn the technique. Like if you're in jiu-jitsu, if I just grab your hand all the time, okay, I know how to grab a hand, but when the teacher grabs my hand, now I know how that shit really feel. And this is not a joke. So you get to feel, as a uki, you get to feel the power. Feel. Anyway, so, let me move up on you a little bit. Something. I'm going to be reading now, so I might interject in between, and I may, mess up, because I was educated in a school somewhere. Anyway, stop playing, bitch. So I entitled this Kung Fu or Karate. And then I got a, what you call that symbol that's like for the question mark? In China, you grew up a hero / warrior or not. You had family or someone around who taught Kung Fu. Okay. I'm going to start over again because I'm reading from the last page. Yeah, this is going to take a minute. Okay, let's start over again. Starting over. Kung Fu or Karate? Question mark. In history, his story, what we've been told in school. See, I'm going to interject. In history, karate developed out of Southern Kung Fu. There's a guy that teaches, that's a karate guy, but he travels all over. He actually went to Fujian province to find out the origins of Okinawan karate, of Southern Kung Fu, including ninjutsu. That's a whole nother video, etc. But They are there are good and bad points to both. When practiced in the West, like here in America specifically, because we got, I ain't gonna say we, America got its own way of doing shit that ain't nobody else's way, and it ain't working. Anyway, interjection. Anyway, first of all, karate, as we in the West know it, came from Okinawa, Japan. And the Okinawa systems of karate descended from Southern Kung Fu, as I said. But Okinawan karate developed from the immediate need to learn combat against samurai swords in their jujitsu systems. Immediate need. That's underlined because that's a specific point. Immediate as opposed to take your time. So, developed from immediate need to learn combat against samurai swords and jujitsu. So, the Okinawans developed a fast way of combat body development. Combat body. I lived in Okinawa. These dudes are no joke. These dudes are no joke. That's all I'm going to say. Combat body development and created ways of using farming tools. So, like the nunchaku, which Bruce Lee made famous, but was used in Okinawa first. It was a tool for farming to beat rice. To beat, well, they might have beat some rice with it, but I believe it was to beat wheat. They was beating a wheat. Anyway, so, and created ways of using farming tools and fishing oars. Have you ever seen like a big paddle oar? Well, I got an African one. I'm gonna do it one day. Etc. for weapons. So they was using farming tools and fishing oars, etc. for weapons because it was against the law for them to own samurai swords and practice samuraiism, whatever they called it. When they developed Okinawan karate, they didn't have concrete streets, brick buildings, cars, or guns, etc. They had grass and trees and horses, not cars with gas and 2,000 pounds run you over. And they had horses to imitate. But in the West, we practice the same way that they did on grass and on concrete. So in other words, and I'm not going to name the system. I'm thinking of a specific system where these brothers and sisters learn how to fall with their hips on concrete. Then by the time they my age, they walking like, it's like, dude, learn another way of falling on concrete. This is not the traditional grass. So where did I get that from? The concept in the first place? Bruce Lee. This is the streets. So let me go on. It is not the grass. Well, unless you live in the grass, somewhere out in the woods or up in the mountains. The people I'm talking to live on streets in concrete with brick buildings and iron, well, whatever them cars are made out. Move on, Bates. Kung Fu or Karate? We here on the modern concrete street need to take the basic idea slash concept and make it for our days and environment. You shouldn't fall on concrete like they fell on grass and soil back 1,000 years ago. This is not 1,000 years ago anymore. You can't, won't carry farming tools for weapons on the street. Now, so you go to modern martial arts schools, karate or kung fu, and they teach you weapons that they used to carry, like legally carry, like swords and shit. My student, Sifu MC, when I was living on the veterans, I still call it a base, they call it a campus. But when I was living there, he came, now he would do something like that. He came to the base. You are not in America once you cross that line to the base. He came to the base with a sword. I'm like, dude, they will arrest you and lose you. This is not America, no. Anyway, not anymore. You are in the military law. So you can't or won't carry farming tools for weapons on the street. So the weapons, well, nunchucks, well, I don't know about here, but in New York, nunchucks been outlaws for years. And most of the weapons that come out of karate, are you going to carry around a big-ass staff? Seen some brothers do it, make it an African type of thing. You might can get away with that. But most of the other weapons, swords and stuff, you're not going to carry these days. So you go to school and learn how to use all this stuff, but then you can't carry it legally in the city. So anyway, that's where I'm going with this. The idea of having to learn a way to defend oneself quickly is still relevant. But we who practice the traditional styles traditionally need to adjust to today. You can't fall on concrete like they fell on grass. Period. Or your ass gonna get broke up. That's the kung fu part. That's a whole nother thing. I'll get into that in a minute. You can't fall on grass. You can't fall on concrete like they fell on grass. You need another technique. You can't legally carry ancient weapons that you may train with in the dojo. That's Japanese for karate school. You need street legal weapons. I learned that from my gang days because we used to carry guns and knives, and then the police used to always put our asses in. Well, I was lucky. I never got put in jail except to my so-called girlfriend called the police. Anyway, and you need to practice with them. In other words, if I say this is a weapon, and you be like, okay, cool, and you put it in your pocket, and then when somebody punch you in your face, you like, what pocket? Where is it at? Oh, here's it go. Now, what did he say? No. It's a stupid little square thing, but it's heavy as hell, and if you hold it right, you could smash what? You understand? Practice with it, whatever it is. We got legal weapons. We got belts. We got canes. We got stuff like the iron pipe. Now, you might not carry around a big-ass pipe like that, but it's legal. Like, what is that, boy? A pipe. The fuck you think it is? Oh, okay. Anyway, let me move on. So you need street legal weapons and you need to practice with them. The philosophy of karate is one punch, one one punch. Like if you fuck with me, pow, dead, you're dead. One punch, one kill. That's the philosophy of karate. Where did this philosophy come from? Needing to learn how to not just fight, how to do combat immediately. Like the samurai culture wasn't always in Japan. They came up and then they went all the way to the little tiny island of Okinawa and fucked with the wrong people. Them dudes are like, okay, we're gonna make our fists out of iron, our body out of iron. We're gonna use farming tools and we're gonna fuck these samurai up. And guess what? Okinawa is still independent. Anyway, so the philosophy of karate is one punch, one kill. But today we have laws of self-defense. And one law is you can't do more violence than your attacker is doing to you. Now, what I mean by that is if, I guess it's, well, anybody, women or men, if somebody just grab you and you kill them and shit, well, if there's some police or witnesses around, and you kill them, it's like, okay, guess who's going to jail? Well, you done killed him, so he ain't going to jail. You killed the dude, but all he did was grab your collar. So, according to this law, which is mostly around the whole country, if he grab your collar, you grab his collar. If he choke you, you choke him. Now, at what point do you know he's getting ready to kill you? I guess maybe if he pull out a knife or a gun, you know what I'm saying? That's like an individual thing at the moment because ain't no police around maybe, ain't no witnesses around maybe, and you gotta be like, am I gonna kill this motherfucker or not? Or should I do the Christian thing and let him kill me? Because I'm going to heaven anyway. I apologize, Christian type peoples. I didn't mean to go there. Turn the other cheek when somebody punching the fuck out of you. Anyway, so that's the law. That's not my law. I didn't make it up. You can't go above. If this is the attacker, and you being attacked, you can't like just kill them with one punch, one kill. Well, if there's no police or witnesses, but it's the law, you will go to jail. If they grab your collar and you break their fucking arm and leg, you go to jail. So part of martial art is learning the law. It ain't a whole lot, but it's part of today's martial art. Back in those days on grass, you punch the fuck out of somebody, you go to the, whatever they call it, judge, yo, he pulled a sword out of me. Okay, go home. Or they take your land and kill you, you know, something like that. Anyway, so that's the law. You can't punch someone to death unless they are trying to kill you, boy. I said that page already. So, if we take the basic idea of Okinawan karate, but adjust it to our times / streets, we would be prepared for war. You don't think you're in war? Why? Because Nobody's shooting at you. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody is shooting at you. They call them police. Oh, somebody else is shooting at them. They call them brothers and maybe even sisters. So people might be shooting at you. So anyway, the basic idea of Okinawan karate and adjusted to our times slash streets, we will be prepared for war that we are already in. On the other hand, this is the karate. This is kung fu. People say, and why I did this is because when I was teaching like years and years and years and years, when I was teaching a long time ago, a lot of people used to ask me, what's the difference between karate and kung fu? Because and you know, kung fu people hate this when they call kung fu karate. It's not karate, motherfucker. Karate is like this. Some styles do this. We learn this in Okinawa. We learn this in Shotokan. Hiya, hiya, hiya. Ho, ho, ho. That's karate, kind of. This is kung fu. Internal kung fu. I do internal kung fu. Ho, that just shows kind of the physical difference. It's a lot more. Let me read on. So, on the other hand, the words kung fu means a high level of skill or achievement over time. Yeah, those two words mean all that shit. That's why I'm glad I know English. You'd be like, God damn, I gotta translate kung fu in a high level of achievement or skill over time. Okay. Kung fu don't mean just martial art. In Chinese, martial is wu. I have to do a video on that because there's all kinds of wu, but it's the tone that you say it in that makes it, because wu is 5, wu is martial, wu is wu wei. Kung fu don't just mean, that's some Negro language, don't just mean martial art in Chinese. Martial is wu, and arts or skill is shu. So it is wu shu. That's what they call martial art, wu shu. Kung fu is a general term. But in the West, that is a sport. So wushu, if you go to see a wushu exhibition, it's a sport. Things are done kung fu-y, but they exaggerate everything. I mean, these dudes are strong. I wouldn't fuck with one of them. But there's a lot of problems that come with sport martial art. So, to achieve real or true kung fu or gong fu, see, my teacher is Cantonese, like Bruce Lee. And in Canton, they speak Cantonese. So they say gong fu. Gong fu in martial arts takes a long time of practice and study. So here's the difference. Okinawan karate, which Japanese karate Okinawan karate descended from kung fu or wushu, which takes a long time to achieve. See the difference? Fast, kill, practice from a child. So it takes a long time to practice and study of the concepts of the system slash style. So let me read what I already wrote. Why I keep interjection and then reading what I already wrote. Many, if not most, of the Chinese Kung Fu masters started strict training at a very young age. So what I mean by that is in China, they practice Kung Fu. If your uncle, your mother and father, or somebody they knew was in the Kung Fu, like Bruce Lee, his parents took him to Ip Man. You understand? They take you to the Kung Fu teacher. Here in the West, you wait till you a teenager at least or older before you even start Kung Fu. It's a whole different thing. They as children learn about herbs. They learn about breathing. They learn about meditation as children. I look at these children in China doing Kung Fu. I'm like, wow, what is our children doing? Hip, hop, hip, 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 hop. Don't stop, rock it to the bang, bang. That's going to help you in war. When the people come to kill you, be like, hip, hop, 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 hip, motherfucker. Anyway. Started strict training at a young age. War didn't come to China like the samurai brought, because I was there. It's an ocean, well, a river, an ocean, between mainland Japan and Okinawa. So the samurai came from mainland Japan, or maybe they was already in Okinawa, but I think they came from mainland Japan, or at least what's the guy, the head of the samurai? The guy, the head of the samurai. He was over in mainland Japan. He like, oh, go take over Okinawa. China, on the other hand, let me finish reading what I was writing. War didn't come to China except for the Tang dynasty, which was a Taoist dynasty. Check that out. I believe it was the Tang dynasty. But check it out. Which dynasty was the Taoist dynasty? Except for that dynasty, China was always at war within itself. They call it the warring states. Now, if all the states in America was at war with each other, we would be the warring states in America. So nobody had to come here. We already the warring states in America. But nobody had to come here from outside. This is the most powerful nation on earth. Who's going to come here? So that's a whole nother story. Let's read on, Bates. In China, you grew up. Oh, this is where I started at the beginning. Because I was like, didn't I say that already? In China, you grew up a hero / warrior or not. So, if you was a fighter, you going to learn some war. But they recognized early that everybody wasn't a fighter. Just like now, everybody is not a fighter. Like people be saying to me, well, I know how to do and I know how to do. Well, everybody is not you. People are different. Some people are warriors. What they recognize, some people are scholars, some people are doctors, some people. There's a lot of different people. Stop trying to make everybody what you are. Anyway, in China, you grew up either a warrior, either a hero. They called people who used the swords heroes in Chinese. I forgot the name. I forgot the Chinese name. Either a warrior or hero or not. you had family or someone around who taught kung fu, and and what did I write there? And and sometime Chinese medicine. So a lot of kung fu masters also mastered Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine is off the chain. I haven't even got into that. Oh my goodness, goshy gracious. Whew. Where was I? So, who were around and taught kung fu and Chinese medicine also as a part. It was not developed to combat a new upstart samurai. There's the difference. If Okinawans were already into martial arts for centuries, like the Chinese for centuries, they would have developed something what they call soft. But because war came to them quickly, they had to develop a fast or quick way to fight now, not take 20 years to get a black belt. The black belt comes from the dirt. They used to wear a white belt to hold up their pants, and after a couple of months of practicing and getting thrown down in the dirt and kicked and punched, that shit turned black because it was against the rules to wash your belt. Because washing takes out the chi, the energy, the ki, they would call it in Chinese. Did you know that? So that's where the black belt came from. It wasn't a rank. It was that dude been practicing because that belt is toe up and it's black. Why black always got to be? No, in this case, black is good. Black is good in this case. You know KaRaTe by the time you got your belt is black. Black. God damn, you been rumbling, boy. So, it was not developed it was not developed fast to combat a new upstart samurai. It was thousands of years of cultivation. You notice I didn't say develop, cultivation. When you put a seed in the ground, if you love what you're doing, you wait till it starts to grow, and then you take care of that plant. You put some water on it when it's supposed to be watered. You put some sun on it when it's supposed to be sun. You cultivate it until it grows or matures into a full marijuana plant. Anyway, years of cultivation and yoga. Now, Taoist yoga is not the same as Indian from India yoga. We're going to get into that. I hope, if I live long enough to get into all this stuff. God dang, every time I say something, it's like, dang, I got to make a video about it. I got a lifetime of videos. Yay. It outlasts my teeth. Anyway, so even though Taoist Kung Fu is for self-defense or martial art, most styles, the way that they are taught here in the West, in America, are not for war. Not for war. Today, in or on the streets, is not. You are not going to Kung Fu or KaRaTe school to learn how to fight in a couple of months at the most. Both KaRaTe and Kung Fu are martial, but they are arts. In the military, I was in the Marine Corps. There go my picture. Oh, wait a minute. Right there. That's the photograph I took before when I graduated. in the military overall, we studied and practiced the art of war is not fair. They be like, oh, let's study warfare. No, let's study war is not. War is not fair. On the battlefield, it's kill or be killed. On the battlefield, it's kill or be killed. What do you think the streets are? Now, you may live in Beverly Hills, but someday or sometime you're not going to have your car, you're not going to be in your house, and you might have to walk on the street. Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. So, on the battlefield, the real battlefield, where somebody is taking out a knife or a gun and trying to fucking kill you, is kill or be killed. Just make sure ain't no police or witnesses. If it takes you months to learn a punch and a kick, you are an artist. If you learn the art and science of life and death with balance, I can kill you, or I can just break your fucking arm. Or I can just get you off of me and not do either one. You won't fuck with me no more. But then you might come back, because this is the streets. Kill or be killed. So, I wrote this down, but if it ain't no witnesses, if it ain't no police, make sure they don't, make sure they can't take revenge. I didn't say that. The art and science of life and death with balance. You are a warrior, but with compassion. So, I just had to get that off my chest. I mean, these videos are more like, what do you call that, seminars. Like, once I've been talking for damn near 45 minutes, half hour, I've been giving y'all free seminars. So, that being said, I'm out. I'm out.